over the years, we've gotten some pretty awesome, but then also some pretty terrible costumes from the Arrowverse, but it's really in this season so far that we've gotten some of the best, whether that be because of the new seasons, Arrow Season 8, The Flash Season 6, Supergirl Season 5, and that's really it. We didn't really get any new costumes from Batwoman Season 1, but also it's because of the Crisis that I think we got so many great costumes. With that in mind, I wanted to look at all the costumes we got in this season of the Arrowverse and rank them from worst to best. I'm not going to be counting certain characters who are either villains who only appeared once or twice, or don't have costumes, obviously, because obviously the no costumes is nothing to rank, and for villains who appeared once or twice, they're not supposed to have good costumes, so there's really no point in ranking them. With that in mind, there are still 15 costumes to rank from worst to best. Some of them aren't great, but most of them absolutely are, and I wanted to rank them. With that in mind, let's begin with the worst new costume from the Arrowverse this year.
Oh, hell no. Make sure the shadow doesn't get to Rip Roar.
Right.
The Akrata costume was one of the most boring and uncreative costumes I've ever seen, and it is certainly the worst new costume we've gotten in the Arrowverse, at least for an important character. This outfit is incredibly boring, and it's really just a leather outfit with a mask that looks exactly like the Dreamer mask. Like, when we first saw her originally, like the first second we saw her, in costume that is, I thought it was Dreamer for a second because they look so similar. It's just that uncreative, which is really annoying because her costume in the comics, while not exactly iconic or recognizable, is interesting enough and could have looked good in live action, but instead they went for this costume, which has got to be the worst new costume we've gotten from the Arrowverse. The original Deathstroke definitely had a very good costume in Season 2, but this revamp of it, which you could basically call kind of the Ravager costume, because Grant Wilson was the original person who wore it, but then also John Diggle Jr. did, but still, it's not great. The actual torso area is fine, it's just not as interesting, really, as the original costume, but the mask, I think, completely ruins it. The mask does have the orange and black design that Deathstroke has, but for some reason, they made, the things around the eyes pop, which looks so weird and doesn't look good at all. Overall, this is one of the worst costumes we've gotten out of the Arrowverse this year, and it is, again, very low on the list. This is another costume that I think is really uncreative, and they really could have done a lot better with it. It's really just green leather, and it's really just the Green Arrow costume, but on a woman, but also there's no mask and hood. The main things of the Green Arrow costume that was also missing from Arrow Season 7. Without it, it completely ruins the costume. It makes it just look like green leather, which is why this costume is kind of boring. I honestly think they really should have went for the Mia Dearden costume in the comics, the yellow and black one, to make her unique from Green Arrow, but also unique from Speedy and Arsenal, because Mia Smoke, while not exactly Mia Dearden, is kind of based off Mia Dearden. I mean, they do have the same first name. I think they really should have gone based off that costume instead of this green leather without really any design or hood and mask.
Breath, but then you take one life, then another, then another, then another. You'll see.
The suit Kevin Conroy wore in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 is based off the Kingdom Come Batman suit, where his body was broken and he had to wear this brace to keep it together. It's not really a suit necessarily, it's really just something he wears because he has to, but I'm gonna consider it a suit because it kind of is technically the Kingdom Come Batman suit. It's not exactly a great Batman suit in the comics, and it's not supposed to be because he's not supposed to be Batman at that point. He's supposed to be completely broken, and with that, they translated it perfectly to live action. It is still fairly low on the list because, again, it's not a good costume, but it did definitely accomplish what it was trying to accomplish. I should note that there was the actual Batman suit that debuted in this season, but considering we didn't see it worn by anyone, except for in this flashback where we could barely really see it, I didn't include it on this list because it probably would look a little bit different in action, in motion, but also actually worn.
You're welcome.
Killer Frost has had a lot of costumes over the years, but not a single one of them was great. Some of them were fine, some of them were pretty bad, honestly, but it wasn't until this one where we got a great costume. This one has, I think, a great color balance between the blue and the black and even the white, which adds so much to the outfit, but also the design of the logo looks great. This is absolutely the best Killer Frost outfit we've gotten so far, and also just a great outfit overall.
Let's do this.
Spartan, I don't think, has really ever had a good suit. That is until this season with this Green Lantern inspired suit. Not only did they make it green, but also the fact that it glows green from the mask, I think really adds a lot. Because the Green Lantern suits typically do glow, the glowing effect that this Spartan suit has really makes it feel a lot more like a Green Lantern suit. Obviously, there's no logo and the helmet doesn't look anything like any Green Lantern suit I've ever seen, but this is the closest that John Diggle has gone to being a Green Lantern or looking like a Green Lantern and looking like John Stewart in the comics that we've ever seen. Not to mention that even without the Green Lantern stuff, it's just a much better looking costume than we've ever seen on Spartan before. And while it is overall a little bit more boring than certain other costumes, which is why it's lower on the list, it is certainly a good costume, and again, the best Spartan costume we've ever seen.
The crisis has begun.
This is, without a doubt, the perfect live-action incarnation of the Harbinger costume, without making it look weird in live-action. The changes they made were certainly necessary, and I think it looks great. The fabric they use is also pretty good, the colors are good, and it's basically the perfect live-action incarnation of the costume. It is a little bit lower on the list, even though it's practically perfect, because the actual Harbinger costume in the comics is not exactly iconic or recognizable or awesome or anything, so the perfect live-action incarnation would not be anywhere near the likes of like Superman and the Flash, so it is a little bit lower on the list, but I absolutely have no problems, like not a single problem with this costume.
But one thing is certain. Everything we know, everything there is, and everything there ever was.
The Pariah costume is absolutely one of the most comic-accurate costumes we've ever gotten. It looks very, very similar to the Pariah costume in the comics, but also it has another element to it, just like the Anti-Monitor and the Monitor. It's got a very complex and complicated design to it, and like the way they bring it all together, it's certainly more complicated than most Arrowverse costumes, and that doesn't necessarily make it better than all of those, but it definitely gives it a lot more points, even without the fact that the design is great, the coloring they use is very, very good, and it overall is a very, very good costume. And while it is lower on the list than you might expect, I do absolutely love this costume either way.
Stronger. Who am I? I am the Anti-Monitor. Come, Harbinger. There is work to be done.
The Anti-Monitor's design in Crisis on Infinite Earths is mostly based off the New 52 version of the character, and as such, I think that it's a perfect live-action incarnation of that costume, much like Harbinger. This suit is certainly more complex and more complicated than most other costumes in the Arrowverse, and even with that, they pull it off very, very well, just like the Monitor's costume. And if you want to include the actual makeup that he puts on to complete the look as a part of the costume, then that definitely elevates it a little bit more, as overall, it's very comic book accurate. He looks very menacing, and it is certainly a great costume.
Stand down.
Oliver, what the hell are you doing on my Earth?
There's something about this outfit that makes it look pretty good in pictures, but it looks absolutely amazing in the actual on-screen and in motion that is going to make it as high on the list as it is, and higher than the likes of Harbinger and the Anti-Monitor. This outfit has a great design. The added yellow they add, which other Black Canary costumes have not really incorporated as much, I really like that as well. And even the hairdo, I think, looks better than other versions of Black Canary, making this, I think, the best Black Canary design and outfit on the best version version of Black Canary ever, which basically means Arrow Season 8 perfected Black Canary on screen better than any other season previously, and I'm guessing also better than the upcoming Birds of Prey movie. But anyway, this is, I think, the best Black Canary costume we've ever gotten.
Where am I?
Who are you?
Send me back to Freeland, now!
Calm down, electric guy.
The name is Black Lightning.
I never liked Black Lightning's costume from Season 1. I just think that it looks really unusual on screen and the colors just don't work, and in fact it looked worse than the costume he had in the flashbacks, which took place in 2005. That suit was at least comic accurate. However, this new suit, which isn't exactly comic accurate, I think is much better than both of them, as it is a lot more high quality, I think, in terms of the actual outfit. The design is way better. The coloring, which is mostly yellow and black, with whenever he uses his powers, it glows blue. I really like it, and I think it looks absolutely amazing, and it is absolutely one of the best new suits we've gotten in the Arrowverse, and you'll see a theme going forward where basically every suit is the best suit that character ever had, and that is certainly true for Black Lightning. Similar to the characters that I mentioned earlier, Spartan, Killer Frost, Black Lightning, I don't think Supergirl ever had a good costume before. The actual costume she's had since the very beginning is kind of a fan favorite. People seem to like it. I never did. It just looks really cheap and really awkward, and it just doesn't look good. This new one, however, is so much better. I always liked the pants design of Supergirl so much more. It just made so much more sense. And while I do think they maybe should have added yellow to the back of the logo like Superman, that's really my only problem with the suit, as I think it's a lot better. It's a lot more streamlined. It is a lot higher quality in my opinion, and I also have no problem with the way the cape is connected to the outfit, just like the Earth 38 version of Superman. I know people have a problem with that. I absolutely do not. So this is a huge improvement on the Supergirl outfit, and again, like Spartan, Killer Frost, and Black Lightning, and others, this is absolutely the best Supergirl costume we've ever gotten in live action, let alone the Arrowverse. Yet another character who got their best outfit in this season of the Arrowverse is the namesake of the Arrowverse, the Green Arrow. This outfit I really wish was around for longer. I really wish they would have implemented it earlier, as it's so good. The way that it takes all the best parts of previous outfits, like the way that the hood connects to the actual costume, like his original pre-hood costume. I think that's perfect. Also, his hood is a lot more freeing. It's less leather focused, and that also has an actual design, which previous outfits didn't really. With how, like, there's the black thing that comes together, and there's like the green hourglass design, which is not exactly connected to the Green Arrow himself, but it just looks really good on the suit. Overall, this has got to be the best live action Green Arrow suit we've ever gotten, and it's just a shame we didn't see it for longer.
Because, Lois, even in the darkest times, hope cuts through. Hope is the light that lifts us out of darkness. I must go back.
The second Kingdom Come suit on this list, and the second Kingdom Come suit in the Arrowverse, but also, like, what is it, the 6th or 7th character on this list to get their best costume in live action ever in this season of the Arrowverse, which is no more, I think, impressive than in Superman, who has had numerous live action movies, very high budget movies, one of which was the precursor to this storyline, Superman Returns. But this outfit has got to be probably the most high quality outfit that the Arrowverse has ever given us, with this design, which looks amazing on Brandon Routh, being perfectly done. The fabric that they use, the color with the brighter blue, I think works perfectly. The actual logo looks amazing, and while I don't really love the red trunks, which is like the main reason it's going to be lower than number 1, because while that is very accurate, this is probably the most comic accurate suit we've ever gotten, I just don't like the red trunks at all. Still though, on this suit specifically, it doesn't really take away from it much, and this is probably the highest quality suit that we've ever gotten from the Arrowverse. It looks amazing. It's the best Superman suit we've ever gotten in live action, and it's number 2 on this list. Something I didn't really think was possible, especially during and after Season 5 of The Flash, is they took the Season 4 outfit and improved on it. The Season 4 costume, I absolutely love it, but it definitely has its flaws, like the fact that it's a little baggy, and also it's a leather jacket with a zipper. This one doesn't have any of those problems. It's not a leather jacket, it doesn't have the zipper, it's not baggy, and it's absolutely perfect. It does so many things right. The lightning bolt design looks amazing. The way that it really cuts off like the color, as everything within the lightning bolt design is a lot like more saturated, everything without it or outside of it is a little bit less so, which I think looks so good in the show and whenever we see it. Not to mention that they brought the chin strap back, which looks great. The actual cowl is really, really good, but also the lightning bolt design was replaced by the wings, more comic accurate, and while I was a little apprehensive about that at first, I think now it certainly improves on the costume. Overall, this is my favorite live action Flash costume we've ever gotten, probably my favorite costume in the Arrowverse, and certainly the best new costume we've gotten out of the Arrowverse this season. But if you could say it, you could certainly say the same thing about Superman, maybe even Green Arrow and Supergirl and others, as all of the outfits we've gotten from this season have been like the best live action portrayals of any superhero or any of these characters. That goes for the Flash, Superman, Green Arrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Spartan, which isn't a DC character, but also Killer Frost, Black Canary, Harbinger, and other characters who have only appeared in one costume. But this season absolutely, I think, knocked it out of the park with all of the costumes. There are a couple that aren't great, but for the most part, I think that the Arrowverse really stepped up their game. So one costume that I completely forgot until legitimately after finishing this video is the Dark Flash suit, which is the Season 6 suit of the Flash with added like dark designs on the logo and also on the tips of his fingers and on his eyes and mouth. This suit is certainly not as good as the actual Season 6 suit because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a dark version of that, an evil version of that, a twisted version of that, and they accomplished that very, very well. Where it would fit in the list, I think it's probably better than the Killer Frost suit, maybe better than the Spartan suit, but I think maybe lower than the Harbinger suit, and that's probably where it would fit. I just couldn't really put it into the list now because I mentioned things earlier that would contradict it actually being on the list and there being like 16 slots. However, I still wanted to talk about it here. So that is my list for the ranking of all the new costumes in the Arrowverse from this season, but let me know your list in the comments down below, and if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.